Hey guys, it's Cali. Today I'm going to show you how I made these hand-poured candles out of recycled jars. And I have two different kinds. One has beautiful autumn leaves on them, and the other just has fall colors. If you don't want to pour your own candles, you could always use a votive in these or a battery-operated candle. But I hope you'll stick around as I show you how I did this. It's a lot of fun. Okay guys, I'm going to show you what we're going to be using today. First of all, you're going to need a container. So you can use good old-fashioned mason jar, use them for everything. You can use, I like to recycle all kinds of containers, old candles. You can heat them up again and get the wax out and clean them out. I definitely like to use recycled materials the most. So I have some of these jars and I'll just clean them and take the labels off, and I'm going to be using these today. And we're going to be doing two different types, and I'll use the same type of jar for each project. So we are going to be using our ever trusty decoupage from DecoArt. I like to use matte, and this is to glue everything down, as well as a sealer, so you don't have to use any other sealer when we're done. You're going to need a brush for your decoupage. I usually use my old ones that I'm not using for painting anymore. I have an assortment of tissue paper here in autumn colors. You can use colors of your choice. And I also have some of these autumn leaves that I got at my local dollar store. Again, you can choose to use these or not. I'll show you an example of both. And then I am going to attempt for the very first time to make my own candle. If you would like to try right along with me, I'm going to show you what we're going to use. But if not, you can always just use a regular, votive size candle, or a battery operated candle, or anything of your choice. You don't have to make your own candle if you don't want to. But if you do want to, I'm going to show you what we're going to use. I'm going to be using some general purpose paraffin wax, and this is clear. There's no color in it. So going along with fall and autumn colors, I'm going to be using some orange and red today. So I just have this candle color, and from what I've read, a little goes a long way. So we only need a little bit of each. And then we are going to need some wick, as well as the anchors for the wick. And we're also going to use a metal dowel to tie the wick at the top of our container. You can use a wooden dowel, you can use a pencil, anything like that that'll fit across the mouth of your container. I'm going to be using, this is very important, it's a candy thermometer. We have to keep an eye on our wax, and you never, never, never melt wax on an open flame. So I've already been playing around a little bit, and I'll just show you. This is a double boiler that I'm using specifically for wax. It already has orange in it. The bottom, we're going to put water in and put the pan in that, and then heat it that way with the thermometer in it. We're going to heat our wax to approximately 180 degrees. We'll add our color, and then I have some cinnamon fragrance. You can use, the fragrance of your choice. We're just going to put a drop or two in the candle. You can add ingredients of your choice, different herbs, crystals, things like that, if you want to make it a little more magical. Obviously, you're not going to be burning any candles unattended, so just please be careful. So again, we're going to be trying to make our own candles. So hang on, sit tight, and I'll be back and show you how we're going to decorate the outside of the jars first, and then we'll go on from there. So I'll see you in a second. Okay guys, after you've decided on which container you're going to use, you're going to, clean it out thoroughly, dry it thoroughly, and then the next step is I'm going to be using my decoupage matte glue sealer finish to just apply some of the tissue paper, and I've just poured it out into a little palette, and I have an old brush, and I've ripped up some of my tissue just in random pieces, and there is no rocket science to this. We're just going to coat the glass and cover it. I'm going to cover all the way up to the neck, and don't worry about any wrinkles or anything coming through on the bottom. We'll take care of that. I'm just going to show you how I'm going to apply this, and then I'm going to leave you to it because really it's pretty self-explanatory. And once we get this done, we're going to let it dry, and then we'll come back with the next step. But these will look really pretty with light shining through. And I don't mind if the tissue paper runs into the next color. It adds to the charm for me. So you get the idea, you guys. I'm just going to go all the way around, and I'm going to finish this, and then as soon as that's done and dry, I'll see you back here. Just a minute. Okay, guys, I'm done with the decoupage and the tissue paper. They're still drying. They're still a little wet. I did 2 just to show the next step, and we can compare. So, and I just added some brown, obviously, around the top to kind of finish off that edge. When we're done here, if you want, you can tie some jute twine or hemp twine around the top as a garnish. But obviously, if your candles are lit, you know, be careful of any decorations here, okay? So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do for the next step. And I'm going to set one aside. We're not going to touch this. And this one, we're going to bring back those leaves. And again, I got these at the Dollar Tree. This is not my original idea. I've seen many people do this on Pinterest, Facebook, etc. But it is cool for the fall. So I just thought I'd show you my take on a similar project. So I'm going to take my handy dandy decoupage and start in again. And we're just going to decoupage these leaves in a random order around the outside of the jar. And it's messy and sticky, and I don't mind at all. So we're just going to go around and cover the whole jar. You know, it's going to take a minute. These are like cloth, but they might give you a little bit of a problem sticking down at first. When they get a little tacky, you just go back and you can hold them down and convince them that they want to stay down. So let me just show you one more, and then I'm going to go off screen again and finish these up. And then I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to dip this guy. Then I'm going to show you how we're going to do our candles. So, that seemed to work a little bit better. Okay, you guys, so I'm going to finish just putting random leaves all along the outside edges here, all around. No order, and I like them. I don't want them all facing the same way. I like them like they're blowing in the wind, along with all the answers. And when we're done with that, I'm going to heat up the wax, and we're going to start pouring our candle. So I will see you back here in just a minute. It's not going to be long because this filled up pretty quick, depending on the size of your jar. So I hope I wasn't all out of frame there, like a crazy leaf gluing woman that I want to be. So I'll see you guys back here in just a second. Okay, guys, I have to apologize. Apparently, I did not hit the record button for the last part. So I'm just going to explain to you what I did. I have the one jar set aside with the leaves on drying, and I took the other plain jar, and I took my bag of wicks and anchors here, and I just cut a wick long enough to fit as tall as my jar, and I took one of these anchors and I threaded it through, and I cut it off, leaving enough room to tie around this metal rod. And as you could see, I did a little bit too much, but that's okay. And that just helps to keep your wick centered when you pour the wax as it's drying, so it doesn't flop all over the place. So I cut the wick out, I looped it around this rod, and then I went over to the stove and I just poured about 2 inches of the orange wax, and I had put some of the cinnamon drops in it, so it smells really, really good. And cinnamon is good for prosperity and abundance, and we can all use some of that warmth. So I am going to let this set right now, just to set the wick, and then I'm going to go back, and I have 2 different pots of wax going right now, and I also have a fire extinguisher handy right here. So hopefully I will not have to use it, but I cannot stress enough how cautious you must be with wax and flame, and being super, super careful, because it can turn very serious very quickly. So anyway, that's enough of my lecture. So when this sets up, I'm going to fill it up to the top, and we're going to do the same thing to our other jar with the leaves on it. And then I am going to wrap some of this jute twine around the top. And I'll see you back here when all our candles are poured and everything's dry and we're ready to go. See you in a minute. Okay, you guys, I poured wax in both of these, and I'm going to let these set overnight, and I will see you in the morning and see what we get. This has been a lot of fun. I can see a lot of candles in my future. I'll see you in the morning. Good morning, you guys. I see that these have set up fine, and after the first initial pouring, I've read, and apparently it's true, that a well is formed around the wick. You can see here that this indentation, this one goes pretty deep. And this one was actually stuck here, so I just undid it this morning. So this is all hard, but what I'm doing now is I'm reheating up the orange wax, and I'm going to just top off this well. We're going to fill it up here, and that will be the final step. So I'm pretty pleased. This obviously is the one with the leaves. And I was thinking of going around the leaves with maybe my ink tents or something, but I've decided not to. I kind of like the way it just blends into the background. You guys tell me, what do you think? But I guess that's an option if you'd like to do that. But I like them both. I'm really, really happy with the way this project is coming out. And again, when the wax hardens, we're just going to put a little bit of twine around the top. So I will re-pour the orange wax right now just to fill this in, and I'll see you guys back here when that's dry. Okay, we've done the final pour, and you can see it's already starting to harden up a little bit. I took out the metal rods because our wicks are standing up now. And all that's left to do is to let this harden up. And like I said, I'm going to come back in with some jute twine and just wrap it around the neck. And we're going to call it good to go. So I will see you back here in just a second. Okay, guys, I got the final pours done. And I have to say, I learned something, which is good. That's what it's all about, right? This is the one without the leaves. Again, there's a little bit, I filled in that well, and I'm still getting a well. So I think there's a bit of a learning curve here. And, as these are my first ones, I'm pleased. But I wanted to fill in the well again. So the same thing had happened on the other one. So I tried filling it in again, and I over poured on this one. And you could see I tried to smooth it out with my finger. And so this looks a lot rougher than the other one, because I left this one alone. So I should have just left it, but live and learn, right? And also, I think they're wonderful. I love these. And I took the one with the leaves and I was looking at it, and I told you guys I maybe wanted to outline Well, I did, and I'm really, really pleased that I did. I didn't use my Derwent ink tents. I came in with some Americana in black and just a sponge brush, and went all around the jar and then just wiped it off with a wet cloth. I didn't have a baby wipe, but you could use a baby wipe. And I just love how you can now see the leaves against the background, and it just darkens it up a bit, makes it a little more grungy. So I really like how this came out. And I don't know, which one do you guys like the best? This has been such a great, fun project. I will definitely, definitely be making more candles in the future. I hope I've inspired you to try your own. And again, safety first, but if you do decide to do this, tag me, let me know what you did. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you have not yet subscribed, I would love it if you did. You guys have a beautiful, blessed day, and I'll talk to you all soon. Take care.